Coming to you live from the KDWN studios on South Durango, Pawn Talk Live. Hosted by the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney, and the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas, Michael Mack. Call in at 257-5396. That's 257-5396. And find out what your valuables are worth from the top expert in the pawn industry. Now, Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave, and you, my friend, are not Michael Mack. Not in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry, you have much more facial hair, and you chuckle differently. What's going on, big guy?
I am not Michael Mack.
You are.
I wish I was right now because he's on his honeymoon, and I imagine he's having a great time.
I'm sure he is.
Is he still in South Carolina? Is that where he's honeymooning? Do we know?
I don't know.
He got married down there, but we don't know what happened after that.
It was like the Santa Tracker app. I had the Michael Mack Tracker app, and for some reason, when we had this power outage last night, which we're going to talk about live in Las Vegas later, it went off my phone, so I'm not sure. I lost him.
So that was you. You were in that power outage, by the way.
I was around the affected area. It's strange. It was like a dividing line thing. I saw, like you did, where it happened. I was just on the other side of where it did not.
See, I was in it.
Yes.
And that was only a couple days ago.
Yes.
Feels like something weird's going on. That's all I'm saying. Are they testing something?
I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm ready for Solar City to get on out to my house and put this system in. I believe they're coming the 23rd, so what's that like? God, that's next week. It's like next Wednesday.
Well, one of the problems that you and I both kind of have in that situation is that we're in gated communities.
Yes.
Which is awesome when the power works. But when the power doesn't work anymore, now you are in a prison.
That's right. And let me tell you what, depending
Good
on the kind of neighborhood you're in. No. Let me just tell you, depending on the kind of neighborhood you're in, the residents can get kind of feisty if there's, say, work to go do in the morning. Say your livelihood depends on being at your job.
Or you just don't want to be, fenced in.
Well,
I think
that.
Everybody probably relates to that. Yeah, it can get ugly real quick.
Yes, it can.
So you feel safe behind those big walls, but guess what happens when the power goes out?
That's right.
Oops.
Whoops. Boom, boom, and out goes the light. Speaking of boom, boom, I've got a whole bunch of great giveaways, things that go boom, boom. This guy, Gallagher, remember him? Big-time comedian, kind of a movie star, ran for president, 1984.
I don't know if that's actually true. I just know that
almost won.
I think there was a lot of people that wanted him to be president. But yeah, that was like a big pushback.
Oh, he had Gallagher. It was just same as like Ken Griffey Jr. running for president.
Yeah, same thing. He was hilarious, though, back in the 80s, and I imagine he still is. And I do believe this is the original Gallagher, because we know that at one point he passed the torch to his brother, who apparently looks similar and has a giant mallet as well and likes to crush fruit. So they figured they had things in common. We can stretch this out a little bit. Well, they've passed the torch back, and now it's the original Gallagher.
Yep, so the original Gallagher back in action over at the Golden Nugget, and I have got a couple of tickets for our first callers today at 702-257-5396. That's 702-257-5396 right here on Pawn Talk Live. Now, Chad, coming up in this edition of Pawn Talk Live, we've got a couple of interesting things we're going to go over. First of all, there is some rare television memorabilia soon to be auctioned off. One of America's most famous Western television shows, The Lone Ranger. Got some stuff up for auction. We've also got 12 facts. Get this. 12 facts you probably didn't know about people who go to pawn shops. And here on Pawn Talk Live, we like to dispel a lot of the myths that go around pawn shops, pawn in general. I mean, just the whole idea of pawn. Pawn is a four-letter word, and some people think of it as the bad kind of four-letter word, but it's not. And Max Pawn is changing the way you think about pawn stores. And truly, Chad, has become a resale experience. Now, Angie, if you've got it queued up, let's just remind the listeners another time about this Max Pawn prize wheel.
She's punching some things. There we go. There we are. That felt nice. Does that mean call now?
I don't know. I was waiting to see if the guy said Max Pawn prize wheel, but he doesn't.
No, that's fine. This is good enough.
You know what? I'm Dave Bottaducci here with my friend Chad Forrester. Max Pawn prize wheel spinning away at 702-257-5396. Get online with us right now. I've got a couple of free tickets to go see Gallagher tomorrow night over at the showroom inside of the Golden Nugget. And actually, you could go see him tonight if you wanted to pick up the tickets this afternoon, because his shows were the 15th through the 18th. So still tonight and tomorrow night.
Yeah, but we don't supply the Visqueen if you sit in front row. You got to go by Home Depot on the way over there to get your own.
I thought he handed it to you.
I don't know.
The shows.
That's a good possibility. Maybe he does do that. But back in the day, I think you had to bring your own.
Well, that's, he was the original shock comic because, you got hit in the eye with all these, little seeds.
That's where that came from, BYOV.
That's
bring
right.
your own Visqueen. I know a lot of people don't know that, but that's where that came from in the early 80s with Gallagher. And then as he got more sophisticated, he supplied the Visqueen.
That's right. Well, and that happens.
He's a good guy.
That happens with success. It also happens with being in a number of movies. And here's the thing that I didn't realize until I actually caught a Gallagher act once. He's a pretty political dude. He's got some pretty funny jokes. Kind of like Carrot Top. You don't generally think of prop comics as having these really kind of witty, insightful jokes, and Gallagher does. So, again, check him out. All you have to do is give us a call, 702-257-5396. Now, Chad, at about 1:35 today, we're also going to get a chance to talk to one of our favorite gals from down at Max Pawn. We're going to talk to Laura, who is also the host of Pawn Talk Live en Español, which airs Wednesday mornings on 1340 a.m., and she has got some real insight on the whole pawn business. I think she gives us, Chad, a real different way of looking at it. I mean, first of all, she's bilingual, gets to talk to us and everybody else as well. And I think she brings in a different kind of customer.
Absolutely. And then her being female as well, it kind of dispels some of that pawn rumor that you think it's just an old sweaty guy in this pawn shop and he's there, bargaining with you back and forth trying to rip you off.
Looks just like Gallagher or something.
It's just not the way it is anymore. No. I mean, the pawn industry has come a long way, and obviously Michael Mack and Max Pawn and the people that work down there have taken it even further.
Yeah, they sure have. And again, if you want to get online with us as well, find out what some of your valuables are worth. I'm no expert pawnbroker, but I've been around this game for about 3 years now, and I'm going to get you fairly close on a valuation. Then all I have to do is pass you on to one of the fine employees of Max Pawn, as Chad just mentioned. Again, the number to reach us, 702-257-5396, pair of Gallagher tickets to our next caller. Now, Chad, I was doing a little research, doing a little digging, doing a little, show prepping as we tend to do here before we go on air. And I found 12 facts about people who go to pawn shops that I didn't know if other people knew. Here's one. Consumers' average pawn loan increased from $80 in 2008 to $150 in 2011 and beyond. Now, some of this stuff goes through 11, 12, and 13 as data was accrued. Are you surprised pawn loans went up, or because of the economic collapse? It seems to fit right in line with that, doesn't it?
Absolutely it does. Obviously, when you're a little bit down on your luck and you need to get some stuff done and you have some collateral, you have something of value, it's just a perfect hand in glove. Plus, obviously, as we just stated, the pawn industry has taken, leaps and bounds with obviously some of the pawn shows that are on have really taken it a little bit further. And then guys like Michael Mack and Max Pawn that have redone their stores and taken a different look at how to do pawn has changed things, and I think that's increased it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the differences in pawn stores of today and the pawn stores of, 25 years ago when we were coming up, a lot different. Now, I've always gone to pawn stores because as a musician, you kind of feel like it's basically the only place a musician really can go to get that extra cash. You've got a gig, it's on Sunday, but it's Thursday and you need to eat. So you go ahead and pawn your guitar. You hustle it up. You go find somebody at the bar that night. You do your thing, and then you come back the next day and you get your pawn.
But to see, when you have success later on in life, it's so much sweeter when you have to go through that, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's part of the reason why some of these musicians have such rich music, is because they go through part of life, that struggle, that strife, that every single day just to be able to eat, they got to pawn the very thing that feeds them.
Yep.
That's just really bad irony. You know what I mean? It's not good, but at the same time, it does serve a purpose.
Starving artist wasn't just developed as a catchy phrase. They actually got this from somewhere, and that's kind of the thing with those kinds of musicians' toys. You know what I mean? You got your guitars, your amps, you got your whatever other kinds of equipment you can always pawn off to get a little bit of money. Here's something else you can pawn off to get some money, and this is obviously a recession-based element here. Since the recession started in 2008, Chad, cash for gold transactions shot up 35%. Now, it's kind of tapered off a little bit over the last year and a half or so. But right now, I mean, from what I am hearing, different reports talking to guys like Ray over at Sahara Coins, the stockpiling of gold here by China, by Russia, and some of these countries, is possibly going to shoot gold back up into the $2,000 an ounce stratosphere at some point, which I would imagine would then even double what we're seeing here in this trend.
Well, absolutely. Once it starts to rise, people that need money will clearly cash that out, liquidate that, and be able to use that money for whatever purposes they desire. But you're absolutely right. And the problem with the precious metals industry right now, especially gold and silver specifically, is that they've been manipulated a lot. Especially you saw that this week where they dumped $1.37 billion in paper and futures of gold on the market. It drove it all the way down below 1,300. It's made a bounce back. Yesterday, it was down 2%, I believe, on Monday, and by Thursday, it regained most of that. Now it's kind of back down again. So it's crazy out there.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. And speaking of wild rides, we're going to step aside, take our first look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. When we come back, Chad and I are going to continue on this 12 facts about people who go to pawn shops, plus a lot of fun in our Collector's Corner. Stay tuned to Pawn Talk Live.
And at 1:15 in the Kidon Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Farmers Insurance believes the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. To find your local agent and get smarter about your insurance, call 888-96-FARMERS. That's 888-96-FARMERS. A couple of crashes on the 15 southbound the Flamingo off-ramp. North 15, that's the Sahara on-ramp. Silverado at the 15 overpass. Also crashes Hacienda at Decatur, Cheyenne at Durango, and a new incident, Pecos at the 215. From the Kidon Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
One Nevada Credit Union, our one focus is you.
With an advance pay short-term loan from One Nevada, you can get up to $1,000 for 2 weeks for less than other payday lenders. Plus, you'll get a $25 bonus just by mentioning this ad. Learn more at getadvancepay.com or call 702-457-1000. One Nevada is open to all Clark County and Pahrump residents. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hiding crooked or missing teeth can affect your personal and professional life. Smile with confidence again with the help of AQ Denture. AQ stands for affordable quality, helping Southern Nevadans since 1975. Whether you need bridges, crowns, dental implants, or denture repair, AQ now offers the latest technology to create the best denture or implant fit. If you're having problems with your teeth and you don't know what to do, pick up the phone and call AQ. 702-565-6000. That's 702-565-6000.
Now back to Jerry Doyle.
Can you imagine living here in Las Vegas 70 years ago? Back when there was no such thing as air conditioning? I can't, which is probably why there weren't many folks who did live here. Luckily, it wasn't long before a little company introduced the first heating and air conditioning systems to the desert. Since 1954, Yes Air Conditioning has been servicing the Las Vegas Valley, making our desert livable and comfortable, and still does today. Because unlike a lot of companies that have come and gone, we've always had a simple strategy. Get your system working and keep it working, so it stays quiet and does its job, so you don't have to think about it. So whether you need a new air conditioning system or need service for yours, the Yes Man will get it working and keep it working. Give yourself the peace of mind of knowing the Yes Man can. Call 888-4937 or visit theyesmancan.com. License 71246.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Follow us on Twitter here for Pawn Talk Live at Pawn Talk Live. You can also go online, pawntalklive.com. Follow Chad at Chad Tweet Stuff and me at Dapper Dave C. Now, welcome back to the show here, guys. And again, we want to get these phones ringing. I've got tickets that are burning a hole through my pocket. I got to get rid of them because he's going to be gone after this weekend. It's Gallagher down at the Golden Nugget. So easy to get to, easy to get out of, and a really fun show. So I've got pairs of tickets. Multiple pairs of tickets for my next callers at 702-257-5396, 257-5396. Get online with us here. Win a pair of Gallagher tickets. And you know what? Give us a little story about the last time you went to a pawn shop. If you don't have anything that you're trying to get an evaluation on, that's fine. Give us a call. Let us know what it was like the last time you went to a pawn shop. Because like we said, Chad, and this is something people in Las Vegas are going to become very familiar with, is Max Pawn is changing the way people think about pawn stores. And I mean, that's absolutely true.
Well, all I have to do is just walk in. I have to just walk in and look around. And then if you take the next step and want to buy something and have the interaction with, the customer service there is impeccable. So you're absolutely right. And it's one customer at a time. And that's all you need to do. And hey, call right now, get a pair of Gallagher tickets, go down and see the fine folks at Max Pawn and see what they have to offer, because it's not your traditional. I mean, obviously they have instruments, right?
Sure.
You were just talking about musician stuff. But boy, the handbag selection's unreal. The watches, the jewelry that's down there. Tools, sports stuff. Every time I go there, I look in the DVD section, Blu-ray discs. And of course, the sports memorabilia. That's kind of where I focus most of my stuff. And then all the electronics.
Yeah, to me, the electronics have saved, let me tell you, a small fortune, okay? Because I have to be the guy to really, take care of things. Mom needs a new computer. Okay, I got you covered. Don't worry about it. By the way, Mom's birthday is tomorrow. Can you believe that?
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, she's celebrating like the 35th anniversary of her 29th birthday.
There you go.
So,
what'd you get her? Anything good?
I bought her that computer at Max
well, there you
Pawn.
go.
So I told her, I said, that's your birthday present. Happy birthday. But, the electronics down at Max Pawn, I mean, just to kind of go over a couple of my recent purchases, an iPhone 4 for my grandmother's 84th birthday.
Wow, she's got an iPhone 4. That's awesome.
She's got an iPhone 4, and she's texting back and forth. Big fan of the show. Thank you, Grandma. Got my mom that new computer, one of those touchscreen laptops, okay? And it's not a Surface Pro, but an actual laptop, fully functional, touchscreen, really great stuff. And then I've gotten myself all of my recent electronics, my iPad, my LG TVs at the house, all of my Xbox 360s. And let me tell you, I don't say just a little bit of a deal, but basically half price over the store. And I know that Michael likes to say up to 70% off retail. That's kind of stretching it a lot in some cases. You got to see what you're going to get for a 70 off. But I mean, generally about 50% off normal retail prices.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the other thing. Obviously, the prices are outstanding. I mean, if you haven't been there, you got to check it out. And the other thing they have there that I really dig, and wow, that's some good scenery in here today, is they have a whole drum set over there, and I know they're willing to make a deal.
Yes.
I wanted to say this specifically.
Yes, that's right.
Last time we were over there, it's like, no, we need to get rid of this drum set. Come make a deal. It's a really nice drum set. I don't know a lot about drums, but it looks like the whole thing's there. You know more about that than I do.
Well, I know enough.
And there's a kick drum. I know that.
I know enough to not push my son into playing the drums, because my house is not big enough for drums. I'm like, I gave him a set of harmonicas. He got some guitar stuff, and I'm like, that's about as far as we're going to take it. But yeah, I mean, great set of drums. I mean, really anything that you would want that's on the higher end of normal. Okay, so if you're looking for your basic, $20 DVD player, that's not the place you're going to want to go. But if you wanted to get something that used to be $100 for maybe $20, you go to Max Pawn and you get really, really good stuff. Now, this brings us back, Chad, to a couple more of these 12 things you probably didn't know about pawn store customers. Pawnbrokers, Chad, have reported more visits, get this, by small business owners trying to make their payroll since the recession of 2008. And Michael's talked about this a lot here on the show. Small businesses don't have the ability, especially with today's restrictive credit, to be able to go to their bank and just draw lines of credit out in order to make payroll, short-term payroll. That's what a pawn store can do for you.
Yeah, and they may have some kind of a large asset that they're able to go down to a pawn store, make a deal, get a sizable loan, and be able to continue their business. And obviously, payroll is a big part of business. So, or if it's expansion or whatever the situation is, I think, again, a lot of, of these TV shows that are on, Hardcore Pawn and the like, are helping that too. I mean, they're helping, number one, putting him on the radar, number one. And number two, it's showing you that it's not like it used to be. Because honestly, when I grew up, the pawn store where I was from was in a really crappy part of town, and it was dank, and it was an old sweaty guy that would try to hustle you. I mean, that was what it was. Well, things have changed.
And listen, that's about the description most people have in their minds. It's what's been portrayed in movies. It's what's been portrayed in songs. And you're right. Typically, that has been, I guess, the historical nature of some of it. But over the last, let's say 15, 20 years, especially with, guys like you said on television, but really here in town, Michael and his brother Steve Mack, who developed the Super Pawn franchise and ended up selling them to Cash America, kind of put together a new look for pawn stores. Gave the pawn industry a different way to kind of go about it. And even the guys down at Gold and Silver Jewelry and Loan, which is the Pawn Stars shop down there on Las Vegas Boulevard, got a lot of their ideas from the Super Pawn franchise. I mean, the old man had been involved with it, but when Rick Harrison and his dad decided to start that one, a bit different things had gone on. So that's something that's interesting. Small business owners, and who knows, we talked about it too, maybe even pot store owners can be able to, can I pawn some of this and make payroll?
Yeah, I got some hash over here. I got like 4 pounds of hash. What can I get on a loan on that bad boy?
When it becomes legal, they're going to have to take a look at it and say...
Well, I mean, who knows? Honestly, those things are factored in then. If
they absolutely are.
If pot stores become a legitimate business, then yeah.
It becomes a legitimate commodity, that's for sure.
That's one of the issues they have up there in places like Denver and stuff is these guys that open these businesses can't get loans because none of the banks will loan them any money.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
because of the federal stance on. So ultimately, once the federal restrictions come off of it, which will happen at some point, I would imagine, down the road, then I think things change.
Yeah, and here's again, this is... just to kind of go off topic a little bit, because we're going to talk about this during Live in Las Vegas coming up today at 2 o'clock here on KDWN. But, the federal government's lumbering, inadequacy is really highlighted by things like Colorado's legalized marijuana trade, Washington's legalized marijuana trade. The fact that you've got the will of the people ready to do all sorts of stuff, and the federal government still saying no, naughty from 1927, it just, I mean, seriously, it gets to a point where you're like, I mean, are we even talking the same language here, guys? I mean, is this even thing? I mean, especially now you got, border crisis going all to hell, and people are like, we're going on vacation.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, let's go to Maine or wherever we're at. I mean, seriously, that's kind of how things are. That's how things shake out, and none of it really makes any sense. But the bottom line is they start to see those tax revenues increase. Things start changing.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, well that's always
these politicians get big smiles on their face and they figure out ways that they can carve a little piece out for themselves.
Yeah, well they're going to be having to carve themselves like a one-way route out of Washington, because if this thing gets any worse here, they could be finding themselves on the wrong end of the stick. Here's another thing, and also directly related to Washington inadequacy. More than half of pawnbrokers say the recession has increased pawn loans, but significantly hurt sales. Chad, some pawnbrokers report up to a 15% decline in their retail side. And here's the thing. People buy less and pawn more when the economy's bad. And you combine this with Walmart, with other big box stores that really suck away profits from small businesses, and you can imagine that would only be the case.
Well, there was just a story the other day. I had it somewhere. I think it was Microsoft's laying off like 18,000 jobs or something along those lines.
Yes, indeed.
So I mean, it's hitting everybody. Obviously, as the recession continues, or whatever you want to call this, whatever word they're using nowadays. I guess it's technically not a recession, but soon to be considered a recession, that people aren't going to spend as much money. That's just how it works. And so obviously it's going to affect everybody across the board.
Yeah, no, it does. And it, obviously when you trickle down as they like to say, I like to say tinkle down, because that's really what's happening.
That's what it feels like.
You're getting whizzed on right there. So here we go. This is going to wrap up our first of the 7. I'm going to do a little bit more later on in the show. But here's another one. Almost 80%, Chad, of customers are taking out pawn shop loans more than twice a year. And that just, again, really goes to illustrate the fact that as much as the stock market might continue to gain steam, and it's up to 17,000, that's just such great news, regular people, day-to-day people, middle-class people are still getting jobbed. And I don't mean given a job, but they are just getting jobbed. And if you're having to take out pawn loans twice a year, I mean, just count yourself amongst the multitudes.
Yeah. Well, obviously it has to do with the economy, and it also has to do with people who are just more apt to, or it's on their radar, so they're willing to go in and try it. So it's a combination of the two.
That's true. That's a great point. And we've had callers throughout the years here on Pawn Talk Live. Just say, hey, listen, I don't really need the money desperately, but I've got buddies coming into town this weekend, and we're going out to hit the nightclubs or do whatever. I've got an iPad. What can I do with it? Michael says, you know what? Come on down. We'll give you a couple $100 on loan. Go out, have a great weekend. Come back, pick up your item here next week. That is true. That is another great reason to go to pawn shops. And hey, when we have big sporting events here in town, or even big gambling events, kind of like the World Cup, I mean, I've pawned a couple of things to lay a couple of dimes down.
I mean, maybe the guy was over at the MGM that laid $1,000 on the Cleveland Cavaliers to win the NBA Finals at 40-1. Maybe he went to a pawn store to get that money, because you may be you're from out of town, you're in Vegas, you know something's going on. You think that he might be going to Cleveland. You pawn something off, you lay some money down, and you may be rich.
Old days in Las Vegas, they would have found a way to get that guy into an accident. Right away, they're like 40-1 on Cleveland.
Things have changed.
Hey, 40-1 on Cleveland. I don't think so. All right, guys, it's right at 1:30 here on Friday. We're going to step aside, take another look at traffic. When we come back, getting online with Laura from Max Pawn, and then later on, more of the facts you didn't know about pawn shoppers here on Pawn Talk Live.
Hello, my name is Sunny Shabro, the Gold Star mom and founder of the Douglas J. Green Memorial Foundation. We'd love to invite everyone from the Las Vegas Valley to come on out to the Freedom Ride. It's going to be at Container Park, September 10th. 9 a.m. and it's going to end September 11th at 9 a.m. Come on out and support us for the troops. It's going to be a 1 hour spin for $40. You can get a bike, or a 24-hour sponsor for $1,000. Please contact at www.djgmf.org. Come on out and support the troops on 9/11. Come on out and please help keep Douglas J. Green's memory alive.
More live, more local. The dawn of today's talk radio. News Talk 720 KDWN Las Vegas, where locals come to talk.
AP Update. I'm Carlotta Bradley. President Obama is warning that the apparent shoot-down of a Malaysian plane by Russian-backed rebels in eastern Ukraine shows the crisis in Ukraine won't be localized or contained to the region. At the White House, he was asked if Russia and its President Vladimir Putin bear ultimate responsibility.
The violence that's taking place there is facilitated in large part, because of Russian support. And they have the ability to move those separatists in a different direction.
At the UN, Ukrainian Ambassador Yuri Sergeyev says the jet would not have been brought down if the Russians had not provided weapons and support to the separatists.
This tragedy would not have been possible if Russia did not support the terrorists and did not provide sophisticated anti-aircraft missile system were not supplied to terrorists from Russia.
The U.S. and Ukraine are calling for a complete investigation. AP Update, I'm Carlotta Bradley.
The news brought to you by Farmers Insurance. At Farmers Insurance, they believe the more you know, the better you can plan. Find your local agent at farmers.com or call 888-96-FARMERS. Brought to you by Farmers Insurance.
It's 1:32 on the Kid on Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. Not too bad on area freeways right now, accident-wise anyway. Pecos at the 215, Silverado at the 15 overpass. Also collisions, Decatur at Hacienda, Cheyenne at Durango. And remember, NDOT is blocking the far right lane on the eastbound Tropicana area between Sand Hill and US 95. That's through 4 o'clock this afternoon. Crews are working on the pavement repair as well as concrete drainage facilities. From the Kid on Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dean.
And I'm Dinah Smith. Every day on Boomer's Brain Trust, we're talking about what's important to you.
News from Washington and Wall Street, interviews and features, personal finance, and more.
Boomer's Brain Trust, weekdays 10 to noon on AM 720 KDWN, where locals come to talk.
Let's face it, searching for a dentist to place your implants is difficult. With all the ads for pricing, it's hard to know what's quality or not. That's why at Dream Dental, we offer the best quality and latest technology in implant dentistry. And we use trabecular metal implants, the same technology that orthopedic surgeons use for faster, more predictable healing. Call or text us at 702-24-DREAM for your complimentary consultation. Call or text now, 702-24-DREAM. That's 702-24-DREAM.
You've loved them on Fridays and missed them on Mondays. Not anymore. The boss just threw them 4 more days. Yeah! Live in Las Vegas with Dave and Chad kicks off your afternoon Monday through Friday from 2 to 3 here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Gold Bond presents Shaquille O'Neal.
So I'm hanging out with my Gold Bond buddies, and they're like, Shaq, great job with the Gold Bond powder spray. People love it. So I'm soaking in the good vibes, kicking off my shoes. Next thing I know, they're coming out with a new foot powder spray. Boom. Shaq strikes again.
Gold Bond No Mess Powder Spray cools and refreshes your body. And new Gold Bond Foot Powder Spray has 2 times the odor-absorbing powders to do the same for your feet.
Stay cool with Gold Bond.
Geico Motorcycle presents Reflections from the Road.
Every time I rev my engine down an open stretch of road, I'm glad I switched to Geico Motorcycle Insurance. Because nothing feels better than saving money with Geico. Except maybe the time I saved a life. A squirrel's life. Gave that little feller mouth to mouth, and then he bit me. On second thought, saving money with Geico probably feels better.
Geico Motorcycle Insurance. See how much you could save.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
Yeah, welcome back to Pawn Talk Live right here on News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave Carney, filling in for Michael Mack once again here. Chad Forster, host as well of Live in Las Vegas, coming up today at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And online with us right now, host of Pawn Talk Live in Espanol on KRLV 1340 for our Spanish listeners, and also one of Max Pawn's finest employees, Laura. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you on today. Now, Laura, like we said in our intro here, you host the Spanish version of our very own Pawn Talk show. And I've got to, I want to give it to you because, see, we're getting a little angry. We haven't gotten calls here on our show the last, day and a half, and you guys have been killing it, getting tons of calls. What are you guys doing over there that seems to be working so well Wednesday mornings?
I really am happy to say that, since I've been here, I think the show has taken like a slight better direction in that, we started to include, we're informing our Hispanic listeners with like local news, and we're bringing in just more information on stuff that can like help benefit the Hispanic community, as well as a mixture of like our store and with just Pawn Talk and stuff. So I think that has really helped out. Get those callers in and hear their opinion, because that is also important to us to know what our customers are thinking and what the Hispanic community is looking for and needing. So I think that's definitely helped the show a lot, get those callers.
Yeah, fantastic. And Laura, down at the store this week, I mean, what have you guys seen come in that's been interesting, different, or maybe a little bit more unique than usual?
Well, I think in the past couple of weeks, the most unique thing I would say, not quite an item, but Floyd Mayweather came down to the store, and
that's an item, yeah.
Yeah, that's an item, right? And,
yes.
He got a couple of Birkins, or he had a Kelly, I believe, and he bought another Birkin, the Hermes Birkin, and that was definitely a huge deal. And obviously, just to have them, in our store is pretty awesome.
Those were watches you were referring to, I'm guessing. No, what?
Those were handbags. They're about Hermes Birkins. I'm sorry if you guys didn't know what they were, but they're pretty expensive handbags, I should say. Starting from anywhere to 10,000 to go up to 100,000, I would say.
Yeah,
so they're really nice bags.
No, they're great bags. I mean, actually, when we think of the Hermes Birkins, I mean, these are like the kinds of sales you dream to be in on. So who was working with Floyd when he came down? Did James happen to get his little red-handed hands on it?
No, actually. Well, unfortunately, I was it was my day off.
Oh,
so
God.
I'm upset about that, I know. But very deservingly, one of our employees, our coworker, Shauna, got it, I think.
Wow.
So, definitely good for her. But, just to have him here, I think, and, it kind of breaks the stigma, I guess, of the pawn shop of, just people needing money and stuff. Floyd Mayweather, money is in his name, I believe.
Yes,
so,
it is.
That's a good point.
There's the boundaries there really is no boundaries anymore, I would say, with the whole stigma of pawn shops,
Yeah, money has a money team, too. It's not just Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah,
he has a whole team.
It's this whole team, exactly.
Listen, I've seen team members of his, come in there, and I won't even tell you the denominations of checks that they're passing through wire transfers, and I'm like, what do you guys buy? Oh, that's a watch? I thought that was a clock Flavor Flav was going to wear on his neck. I didn't know you put that on your wrist. So, Laura, with Michael being out of town, we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks with our listeners here on Pawn Talk Live. Out of town, getting hitched, doing the out there in South Carolina. What's it been like around the store? Have you guys been having like 85,000 times more fun without the boss in town?
first and foremost, I just, I don't think he's listening, but I really want to congratulate him and Kat. I'm so happy for him, and Kat is an amazing, amazing girl, and I hope, nothing but good things for him and Kat. The store has been, there's been no slacking off whatsoever. We're working harder than even if he was here, but we definitely miss him, and he'll be back this week, but there's definitely a lot of work being done.
That's good. Sometimes when the boss is away, though, actually people really step their game
More
up.
work gets done.
Yeah, more work gets done.
That happens.
Oh, awesome. Well, Laura, listen, again, we really appreciate you jumping on with us here on Pawn Talk Live. And again, for our Spanish listeners, maybe if there's anybody that's a little bilingual, check out Laura Wednesday mornings, 9 o'clock on 1340 a.m. And again, Laura, you guys do this every single Wednesday and Friday. You have got 98-cent DVDs, $3.98 Blu-ray specials, and DVD box sets also for $3.98. Now, do you guys have any new DVD box sets that have come in over the last week and a half that we can let our listeners know about?
I don't believe so. I think we have a Lord of the Rings box set.
That's big time.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
Nerd alert.
It's retailing. Yeah, nerd alert. It's retailing for about it's on eBay for I want to say $60 or something.
Wow, and you can get it today for $3.98.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
So,
hey, Chad, nerd yourself out on down there because you're going to pick that up.
I hate to admit this, but I actually already have that in Blu-ray and paid that ungodly amount of money.
There you go.
So when I was nerd alerting myself.
That's all. Well, you know what? Lesson learned.
I'm a big fan. I like Frodo and the whole gang there.
Hey, J.R.R. Tolkien, great writer, awesome vision. Again, Laura, thanks so much for joining us today. You guys do your best to beat the heat. And, of course, remember to everybody that's listening, Max Pawn open 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Sunday. You guys will be open all weekend.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Dave. You guys are doing a good job at the radio show. Keep it up, okay?
All right. Thanks so much. Very nice compliment there from Laura, who is, again, Chad, I know that, I hate to pat myself or yourself on the back too much because this isn't like, we found Laura or discovered her, so to speak. But the young lady has really, really developed and has done a great job with the sister program to Pawn Talk Live in Espanol. There you go.
Did I turn my microphone?
Yeah, it's because you were coughing. You had a little frog in your throat.
Is that what it was? Well, yeah, you're absolutely right, and I'm just really happy for her because she's she's taken the reins and taken control of the show and really done some wonders with it. And all I know is that the response from the audience is really good. The listeners, because every time I listen to it, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but
yes,
it sounds cool.
That's right. All you can tell is activity.
There's a lot of phone calls, so I'm like, something's going good.
A lot of phone calls, and it's wonderful because when we really kind of just designed that program to bring some attention to a segment of the population that probably wasn't getting any attention. Nobody really directing a message like that to the Hispanic population here in Las Vegas. And I feel proud that we've been able to do that with such success. And Laura, of course, Maria, Deanna, and Juan, everybody who's part of that show. Great job, guys. Now, a couple of minutes left here before we go to our next break. And chat, I'm still sitting on tickets to Gallagher over here. Now, if they can do this on Pawn Talk Live in Espanol, I know that we can do it here on Pawn Talk Live in English. Okay?
Bueno, El Gallagher.
All you have to do, pick up the phone, give us a call.
I don't know anymore. I don't even think I've said anything. I don't even know what I just said.
I think you have to leave now. Is that your...
No, seriously, this is Gallagher. This is the real the original Gallagher. Maybe you didn't hear me before and you're thinking, yeah, that's the fake Gallagher. No, it's the real Gallagher. Call now.
That's right. 702-257-5396. 702-257-5396. If Chad and I are forced to go to Gallagher both nights, I don't know, Chad. This is, I'm going to be ready to go on Monday. I'm going to be raring.
I like a fair share of melons in my shows, but not specifically those kinds. That's all I'm saying. So I'd rather give them to somebody else.
I'm hoping for the over 21 Gallagher show because it's vodka watermelons. And he splashes those down. You catch a lot of it. And you're just like, yeah, boy.
Not a watermelon will be safe in Las Vegas while Gallagher's over there. I'll tell you right, this guy's crazy with that mallet.
No, it is. He's fantastic also. So, again, 2 free tickets to Gallagher are yours. 702-257-5396. Now, another thing I've got here tomorrow, and I've just been kind of holding on to these, but I guess I'll try to give them away here. Again, same phone number. Tomorrow over at the Brooklyn Bowl, a little group called Super Diamond coming to town. So a fun show over there. If you haven't been to the Brooklyn Bowl yet, I've got your tickets to get over there tomorrow night. Show starts at 9 o'clock. The doors open at 8. Again, 702-257-5396. Now, Chad, when we come back from this break here in just another couple of minutes, we're going to wrap up the program with some more of these 12 interesting facts about people who go to pawn shops. At the end of the list kind of surprised me even more than the top of the list. So stay with us here on News Talk 720 KDWN and Pawn Talk Live.
And a 144 in the Kid-on-Run Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. Not too bad on area freeways. Heavy volumes on Interstate 15, but you are moving along. 15 north, the number 3 lane is a little slow at the moment. Pecos at the 215, Silverado at the 15 overpass. Also crashes Flamingo at Maryland on the east side, Decatur at Hacienda, and Cheyenne at Durango. For the Kid-on-Run Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Happy Friday. This is Chad Forster from Pawn Talk Live and live in Las Vegas to give you today's Precious Metal Report. Brought to you by Max Pawn of Las Vegas, located on the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones. Well, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride this week in the market as we saw gold drop nearly 2% on Monday, gaining most of that loss back by Thursday, only to be back on the ropes again. Here's today's precious metal prices. Gold is at $13.07, silver $20.81, and platinum is at $14.84. Do you need extra cash this weekend? Visit Max Pawn to sell your unwanted gold, silver, platinum, coins, diamonds, watches, art, antiques, designer handbags, and more. For free phone estimates or questions, call 702-253-7296. That's 702-253-7296. Or check us out online at maxpawn.com. Max Pawn, where luxury meets value, open every day, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the corner of Sahara and Jones. Have a great weekend.
Attention men, are you one of the millions suffering from ED? Has Viagra or Cialis failed you? Are you suffering from low T or just wish you could last longer? New Male Medical Center can help you discover the new you. Their doctors offer state-of-the-art FDA-approved treatments that are 98% effective. You'll see results on your very first visit. Their treatments will work even when Viagra and Cialis have failed. Guaranteed. Call New Male Medical Center at 702-505-4414 today to schedule your no-obligation appointment. Calling now is the best decision you will ever make for your sexual health. Join the thousands of patients who are no longer suffering because they had the courage to call. 702-505-4414. That's 702-505-4414. New Male Medical Center. Discover the new you. 702-505-4414. That's 702-505-4414.
Dave Carney here for Pawn Talk Live with some really big news. Your favorite Friday call-in show, Pawn Talk Live, is moving to a new time, 1 p.m. Join myself, Max Pawn's Michael Mack, and Chad Forster every Friday at 1. Find out what your treasures are worth, gold prices, and more here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Some do-it-yourself commercials try to make it seem like doing your own plumbing is cool or a fun way to spend a Saturday. If you think getting down under your pipes and messing with your own plumbing sounds about as fun as chewing seashells, then do yourself a favor. Get your phone out and dial 888-4937. That's the number for Yes Plumbing. And someday, when something in your pipes goes amiss, you'll need it. Or you could be the one on your back turning a wrench in a pool of water. Or you could dial that number and get the Yes Man. The been there, done that, fix that guys. A different kind of plumbing company. A slightly obsessive, neat freak, clean room, booties in your house type plumbing company who will do a job so well you may never see them again. And when it comes to plumbers, that's a really good thing. Yes Plumbing, because the Yes Man can. 888-4937 or visit theyesmancan.com. License 71233.
Hi, this is Doug Basham. You know, the guy you just can't get enough of. Or is that the guy you just love to hate? In either case, join me every Saturday afternoon at 3 for something a bit different. That's Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. See you then.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN, streaming worldwide at that handy interwebs at KDWN.com. You can also download the KDWN station off of radio.com, TuneIn apps, and, of course, iHeartRadio. Lots of great ways to be able to enjoy your favorite talk programming. I'm Dave. He's Chad, sitting in for Michael Mack, who's still down in South Carolina. I don't know if it's not necessarily down, up in South Carolina. I always think it's down because it seems like the South, but up in South Carolina from where we sit here on the West Coast, getting married, doing the little honeymoon. So again, congratulations and thanks for making us part of your day here. Now, coming up at 2 o'clock, Chad, we begin another show of ours live in Las Vegas. And this has been a really great week here of Live in Las Vegas. I mean, tons of big news talking about the Malaysia Flight 17, which is downed, and, of course, more reports starting to surface about that, as well as, crisis in the border and Israel. I mean, we're talking about, lots of fun stories going on in America.
Yeah, pretty much wherever there's a border, there's somebody fighting over it.
That's right.
And we're there. Because we're Americans. That's what we do.
American. Well, apparently the only place we're not going to fight a border war is in the Ukraine, because watching reports are like, dude, you guys pulled out of Europe like 15 years ago. There's nothing here for you now.
Yeah,
and guess what? Russia knows it. So interesting stuff there. Want to congratulate, Chad, Julie Weaver. Julie was our lucky winner of these 2 free Gallagher tickets. Now, Julie, you can just pick them up later on this evening. 6040 West Sahara, Max Pawn. And a great place to go, Chad, if you're looking for a couple extra bucks night out on the town. Tonight, I'm actually taking the fam out, taking Johnny Boy and the lady to see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Very excited about this movie.
That movie looks pretty good, actually. I didn't see the other one, The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I, of course, saw the original, and then the one that I guess was with Marky Mark or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But I haven't seen this, but this other one looks really good. The new one looks really, really compelling, but kind of scary at the same time, because these apes actually get kind of pissed off.
Yeah.
They're not happy.
No, and really, if you see the first movie, which I would highly recommend, John Lithgow, James Franco, and the same guy that plays Caesar the Ape, I can't remember the actor's name, who did the motion capture for it, but a fantastic story, and really interesting how they played out this version of the Planet of the Apes, being that it was a virus that basically the humans contracted, that we were trying to cure cancer and or Alzheimer's, and it ends up going viral, of course, like these things do in movies, and killing off most of the people. So it made it more believable to me than like a bunch of gorillas being able to take over the world, right? There had to be something else.
Yeah, let's make it a little bit more realistic. Okay, otherwise I'm not going to go watch that movie.
Well, let's just, come on, let's work within some of the confines of possible
That's why
reality.
you never saw Cats on Broadway, because you just couldn't believe it.
Exactly.
That's just not feasible,
no.
So I'm not watching it.
That's right.
I don't care about entertainment.
Now, the Book of Mormon, totally possible. I'm going to see that because that's all true. Okay.
No, but I think that the new Planet of the Apes movie is going to be solid. Obviously, it's kicking butt in the as far as box office.
Yeah,
goes.
no, it's smashing as far as box office goes, and really going over and above the expectations the studio laid. But again, congratulations, Julie Weaver. You've got a couple of tickets to see Gallagher. Now, chat, I'm sitting on a bunch more tickets here for Gallagher, and I feel bad. I want the original Gallagher to have as many people in his show as absolutely possible. So I do have another pair of tickets to give away here on Pawn Talk Live. The number to reach us in studio, 702-257-5396.
Well, we all know there's nothing worse than trying to smash fruit in front of a half-empty auditorium. I mean, you need a full auditorium for that really to be effective. Otherwise, it's just kind of sad. Well, so we're just trying to help out, that's all.
And you know the old adage, if a piece of fruit gets smashed and there's no audience to see it, does it still make a splat?
Right, or does it make some kind of juice?
That's
I guess
true.
That you would probably drink because you love that stuff.
I do.
Especially if there's some kind of spinach in it and it's green. You love that.
I do. If it tastes like dirt and looks green, it's all for me.
Yeah, that's the kind of juice bar you want to go to.
Yes.
Is they actually put soil in it.
Yes.
How many scoops of soil would you like? 2, please.
But for a little pep, I like Miracle Grow. Okay, because it just gives you a little bit of that something else. All
From
right.
Monsanto, by the way.
Well, of course.
Courtesy of Monsanto.
Of course, you can't not have that. Put a little Ortho Home Roundup around your house, and pretty soon, you know it, you can't do anything, and you've grown a third eye. Welcome to this world. All right, here we go. At the end of the show, we started off at the beginning, Chad, talking about 12 facts about people who go into pawn shops, stuff that you might not have known about people who visit pawn shops. Here's something that is, very obvious, and it kind of goes with a lot of what we've been seeing here, recession-driven. About half of pawnbrokers reported about an 8% uptick in loan defaults from 2009 to 2012, where this statistic goes to. And I guess that just, it shows you where we have more people loaning, more people going in more often, and obviously a slight uptick in those not being able to redeem.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, obviously, it just all goes in with the mathematics involved in it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, though, again, it's opening the doors to people having an alternative to banks to go and get some kind of money for whatever they want to use it for.
Right. And an alternative as well to payday loan companies, which, listen, I know a lot of people need to use payday loan companies to get by and do different things, but pawn shops are, in my opinion, the better bet if you have something of value, because at this time of your life, if you're in a position where you need money, the last thing you need is extra headaches and people, hounding you for your dollars. Okay, so if you go to a pawn shop, you put something in, nobody's calling you. Okay, you're not getting anybody coming to your house, knocking on your door. It's just an easier, cleaner way to get the money that you might need. But 85%, Chad, going over to this uptick in loan defaults, 85% of those who did take out loans still pay them back. Now, Michael talks about on the show all the time the fact that Max Pawn has an over 90% redemption ratio, making them one of the highest in the state. But would you have guessed that it was as high as it is, 85%?
Before I knew you guys, absolutely not. I would have thought it would have been more like 50, but obviously, I've been around it. Yeah, I mean, I do believe that now because things have changed, but I thought it would be probably less than half.
Yeah.
But 85% is amazing.
It really is, and I guess that, goes to show you why pawn stores are really so, doing so well and in business, right? Because, you'd have to have them come back and get that loan done. 20%, though, of pawn shop customers, Chad, this is a sad thing, are unemployed. So, again, this is, goes with 20%. 63% of the country's unemployed. So I guess that's just
that's just a third of us. If you want to use real numbers, Dave, that's not fair when you use real numbers.
Lies and statistics.
You got to use the fake ones. It's easier that way. It paints a better, prettier picture.
It really does, and it, basically like we do here, it just helps us sell our bonds and annuities differently. So that's something that's not great. But here's another stat kind of showing about, maybe the economic situation people are in. Only 33% of pawn customers, Chad, own their homes. 77%, rent their homes. 82% of pawn shop visitors have a high school diploma, and the average customer has an income of $29,000, also 36 years old. Now, here is the final thing, the thought that I want to leave you with, because it shows you just how many of these pawn shops there are and how popular they've become. Customers can now visit more than 10,000 different pawn shops across the nation. And, of course, the best pawn shops that I can refer you to, one of them in Detroit, American Jewelry and Loan. That, of course, is Seth and the Gold family. Of course, we've got Max Pawn here in Las Vegas. And what was the name of the place up in Washington you gave such high reviews to?
Oh, God, what was the name of that place?
Larry's Screw Joint.
I mean, honestly, it's one of those places that was just called, pawn shop.
Right.
I was like, there's no creativity at all. I was like, it's just called store.
Right.
What should we call it? I've thought long and hard. How about store? Perfect.
Is this the pants store that Ron Burgundy told me about?
We're going to sell millions. I'll just call it pawn store. Actually, nowadays, that would work.
Yeah, no, you're right. It actually would. The levity and brevity thing like that. Pawn store. Hey, pawn store. Pawn.
I honestly think that's the name of this place. It was called Pawn Store.
Probably. I mean, it probably had a name on his LLC filings.
I don't think
the marquee said Pawn Store.
He just didn't take the time to put it up there. It was it was just some old guy. His name was Steve or something. It was probably Steve's Pawn Shop, but he just didn't have the money or didn't take the time to put Steve on there, so it just called Pawn Shop.
That's right. Yeah. Well, days have changed, and thank goodness for small favors, because I like living in the days that have changed. Where now we've got pretty pawn shops, places I can go and shop for LG TVs without being gouged by high prices and other things at other big retail stores. So for Michael, who is out in South Carolina, Chad, who's going to be right back here with me, I'm Dave. Stick around here to News Talk 720 KDWN for Live in Las Vegas, coming up right after this.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous Max Pawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, Max Pawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at maxpawnlv.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous Max Pawn, where luxury meets value.
Saturday, October 11th, experience the Las Vegas Strip like never before. From the roof of Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino before you rappel more than 350 feet down the side of the building. It's the world's most daring fundraiser. Brave the heights of Planet Hollywood and help support the 3,200 athletes of the Special Olympics Nevada. Only 85 people will get the chance to rappel Planet Hollywood, and registration is currently open at rappelplanethollywood.com. Help support the Special Olympics of Nevada in the fundraiser of a lifetime.
I like Oreo. I love mint Oreo. Chocolate chip cookie dough. Chocolate Extreme.
Get your favorite Blizzard on Miracle Treat Day, August 14th at Your DQ, and raise your spoons for the best Blizzard you've ever had. For each Blizzard purchased, Your DQ will donate $1 or more to your local Children's Miracle Network Hospital, helping kids like Kylie. Text MIRACLE to 88